Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Awe Digital Wellness podcast.
Hello
Beautiful
everyone.
guest, Mark, here, joining us to talk about co-regulation and focus today.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to this conversation with you, Christian. Co-regulation is a super important topic for everyone. Um, but before we jump into that, there are really big news that have happened, and I'm not sure if you notice what's going on with Meta right now, all over the news, directly concerning All's mission as well. Meta is currently on trial. First time that Mark Zuckerberg has faced a trial jury for the harms that social media is causing kids, specifically with regards to addiction. So this is a Los Angeles trial. A lot of the media is calling it the digital addiction trial. So the accusation is that a 20-year-old woman identified as KGM claims that Meta, also Instagram, Facebook, includes YouTube as well, intentionally designed their platforms as digital casinos to addict children. This plaintiff alleges that using these apps from age 6 led to severe depression, body dysmorphia, and suicidal thoughts.
Just a
So
question for the audience, Mark. Is that
mhm.
something that we've been talking about for 2 years?
We saw the what is the saying? We saw the signs. We saw the signs in the mountains. What is the saying when you see something before it really catches storm? But all was created, to address digital addiction, and I think the world is
Catching up.
waking up now. A lot of people are saying this is the Philip Morris moment for Instagram, right? So the same way that tobacco companies had this big trial against them in the 70s and the 80s, this is the reckoning that Meta was hoping to delay for as long as possible, and now it's catching up to them, essentially. So Zuckerberg's actually denying that Meta designs its platforms for addiction. He's also argued that internal goals for user engagement were mischaracterized and that the company aims for a sustainable use that is useful to people. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? And there's also a child exploitation trial going on simultaneously. But why this really matters for the listeners is that these platforms were designed for things like infinite scroll, autoplay, beauty filters that essentially dysregulate the nervous system. And that is related to our topic today. And that's the exact opposite of co-regulation, right? So essentially, it's going to be very interesting what happens with this trial because up until now, Zuckerberg has testified before Congress, he's testified before the government, but he's never had a trial by jury. So we're really going to have to see what happens, what comes out of this. I think there's a few weeks left in this trial. And Meta could potentially face many, many fines, right? We've seen countries like Australia and Denmark start to take measures against social media companies, requiring age verification tools and processes, excuse me, in place for people to register on the platform. It seems like, sorry, I'm really coughing a lot today.
Is that all
It
that
seems like
tobacco?
Meta's, yeah, exactly. Meta's trying to stop me from speaking the truth here. But the US is really starting to catch up now. And I think I'm really glad to see this, and money talks. So we're going to see if there's a big settlement that comes out of this big lawsuit. But this is probably the biggest news, especially concerning all in the last couple of years, potentially because if this really equates to something, to a lawsuit against Meta, then there's probably going to be similar lawsuits for other social media platforms that will follow on suite, considering the harm that it has done to children and perhaps even the AI companies, right? So OpenAI and Google and Anthropic could also be on the stand here. So I think lawmakers are starting to take this issue a lot more seriously, and we're seeing people waking up to this issue even before all sounded the alarms over 2 years ago, right? So it's really interesting what's happening, and I'm just seeing a lot of people commenting on this online on social media as well.
Thanks for sharing the news. As you mentioned, it is relevant to our topic. And talking about tobacco, there is this very nice movie called Insider that talks about exactly inside what's going on in the companies, and probably certain insiders things are happening in Meta and other social media and other technological company. You mentioned OpenAI, others. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's similar things happening for the environment. There's also a beautiful movie called Dark Waters. Yes, I'm a cinephile. I love movies. Oscars are
Yeah.
coming. We can talk about that in a different podcast. But also to give kind of the the context that there was a lot of things that are happening, behind closed doors, and we coming at it with a science angle and how is it helpful in day to day life for children, for adults. This is targeting children, but it's doing the same with adults. There's also another documentary on Netflix called the
The social
Dilemma.
dilemma.
Social Dilemma